Well, welcome everybody. My name is Kelsey Rettke. I am the editor of the Daily Chronicle. I'm here with our DeKalb County Board candidates looking to represent districts 1 through 4. We've got everybody here except for the Republican candidate for District 2, Tim Hughes, who could not be with us tonight. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll give each candidate 2 minutes. If you could introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what your party affiliation is, which district you're running to represent, and why you're running. So why don't we go ahead and get started with Kathy.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the Daily Chronicle and Kelsey for hosting this forum. My name is Kathleen Lampkins, but most people call me Kathy. I have lived in DeKalb County for 45 years. I've been married to my husband Don for 45 years. We have 3 daughters, Becky Springer, Erica Snodgrass, and Jessica Gale. I am the Republican candidate for County Board District 1. I started my working career. I worked for 10 years for DeKalb Ag Research, then 13 years at Duplex Products, and I will be retiring in the next couple of months from the DeKalb County Circuit Clerk's Office, where I am the Chief Information Officer, and I will have completed 22 years of service to the county when I retire. I'm running for County Board because I feel I have a lot to offer the county in both my time and service, and this is my opportunity to give back to the community.
Welcome, Kathy, and we'll do Josh next.
Pardon? Who is next?
Josh, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is Josh Orr. I'm running for DeKalb County Board District 3, the Democratic candidate. I've been a 20-year resident of DeKalb County, 15-year resident of Cortland specifically, and I'm running to bring another voice of reason, integrity, and experience to the board. I spent 15 years working for the County Clerk's Office. So I have a good amount, and even in some cases, different counties. Yes, looking to the board is experience where I've assessed.
All right, welcome, Josh, and we'll do Amber next. Go ahead, Amber.
All right, so my name is Amber Quitnell. I am running for DeKalb County Board District 4 as the Democratic candidate. And so I was born and raised in DeKalb County. My parents were born and raised here. My grandparents can trace my roots back to 1883 here in DeKalb County. I am Sycamore strong, have a lot of pride in DeKalb County. I feel like it's my time to step up and give back to the community. I come from very humble beginnings, grew up very poor, but changed my circumstances after I started my own business. So after I had my children, I went back to school and obtained my master's degree in regulatory affairs for the pharmaceutical, biotech, and medical device industries. And right after graduating, I started my own business out of my home, which was very successful right away and really changed the course of the circumstances for my children and my life. I am the very proud mommy of 5 children who are my heart and soul. And I'm running for county board because I want to bring another level of transparency and accountability and communicating with the constituents. And I want to make sure that Sycamore remains safe, a place to call home. Thank you.
Welcome, Amber, and we'll go ahead and do Lori next.
Hi. My name is Lori Emmer. I'm a Republican. I'm running for District 4 in Sycamore. I was raised in a military family, born in Puerto Rico. And when I was going to college in San Diego, I decided to join the Army. I came to Sycamore because my husband is Virgil, and they moved to Sycamore when he was in high school. And I loved Sycamore. When my husband was deployed in Iraq, I decided to buy a house because I felt that Sycamore was a place I wanted to raise my last 2 children and call this home for the rest of our lives. I have 3 bachelor's degrees. I was studying for a master's degree in business administration. Raised my last 2 children here out of 4 children. Worked for Aflac. I have worked for Edward Jones. I am currently retired, so I have lots of time in my hands. I have done a lot, or currently still do a lot of volunteer work with veterans. Currently am a state commander for the Veteran Foreign Wars, so I do a tremendous amount of work with them right now. I ran for county board in 2016, and I'm currently running for county board because I just want to serve the community that I live in. I care deeply about this community, and this is the place I call home, and I care about the economy here. I care about the safety, and this is deeply, deeply important. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
Welcome, Lori. And we'll do Christy next.
Okay, thank you. Kelsey, thank you for hosting us, and I appreciate the DeKalb Chronicle having this because that's what it's all about, is keeping voters informed. I'm a good fit for DeKalb County Board District 2. My name is Genoa and Kingston. I've lived in Genoa for over 30 years, and I've raised my family here. I've also been very involved in a wide variety of community service. Presently, I'm on the Kishwaukee Valley Heritage Society Board as the secretary. I love how we partner with DeKalb County History Center and the partnership that they have throughout the county. I've been attending DeKalb County Nonprofit Partnership workshops and let me understand just how wonderful this county is, how people are working hard to make it even a better place to live. I've also worked and I have volunteered at Safe Passage. So I have a good insight into how all these different agencies keep the county going, and they're all vital. And the county board really has, I would have a unique position to oversee that and keep things in good standing. I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Missouri. I have a counseling degree from Northern Illinois University. So all my 36 years of teaching, I was a listener and a communicator, and I have a reputation of being able to listen to both sides, use that to help solve problems so that everybody feels like they're heard. And I think, you know, I really believe in our democracy and all of our citizens having a voice. So I think we need to respect everyone and respect differences and use those to help make us even stronger. And lastly, I'm a lifelong learner. I love to read. I love to study issues. I used to think studying the issues and voting would be enough. I don't think that anymore. I want to do more. So I've been ever since I decided to run for county board, I've listened to past meetings and present meetings and the forum on race relations. I attended both of those. I read the mitigation plan. I read the comprehensive plan. I looked through the budget. I like studying those things and seeing how we can solve problems and work together. So basically I care and I'm curious, and I look forward to being on the county board.
Welcome, Christy, and we'll do Jill next.
Hello, I'm Jill Simpson. I am a Democrat candidate for District 1. I've lived in District 1 all but maybe 7 years of my life. I grew up in Mayfield Township, lived in Malta Township, and I'm now here in Shabana. I'm the high school librarian here at Indian Creek School District, and I also work part-time at the public library here in town. I've got 2 kids, all grown up. My daughter's a 5th grade teacher, studying to become an editor. My son is a staff sergeant in the United States Air Force. I raised them to want to serve, and I would like to do my part now. Now that I've finished raising them, I have more time. I'm running because I feel like I'm very much in touch with our district. Having grown up in the area, I grew up with the farmers. It's a very rural area. Know a lot of people in the in the district, have always loved this area, the villages, and I've always lived in or very close to the villages whenever I had a choice in the matter, because I just thought it's the life and my community that I love. I'm running because I think that I am in touch with the area, and I think that I can bring a lot of focus and dedication to serving the community, and I hope that people will see that.
Awesome.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Jill. And last but certainly not least, we'll go with Patrick.
This unmuted. There we go. Hi, my name is Patrick Deutsch. I'm a lifelong resident of Sycamore. Proud Spartan, graduated from Sycamore, went through Kishwaukee College and achieved a degree in ag mechanics. I am a dairy farmer in partnership with my brother. We farm north of Sycamore. Being a farmer, I'm a small businessman. I kind of have an idea of what it takes to balance your budget and keep things going. I like to think of myself as being approachable to my constituents in the area, neighbors and friends. Basically, I'd like to, I decided to run for county board, to bring a voice of reason, be able to where I'm located is down the Plank Road corridor, and I know that's kind of a hot button issue, and I utilize that road with farm equipment as well. So, but I'd like to concentrate on public safety and our roads, and we're going to be facing some tough times ahead with the COVID and all. but having two children myself, I'd like to, basically I ran to make sure that, or to try to make things better for them when they come along. I thank you, and I guess that's it.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. So we'll go right into our questions. Obviously, the big topic of today came down about 4 p.m. today, so about only an hour and a half ago. That due to continued rises in coronavirus cases within our health region, so our health region, the state is divvied up in regions based on the Illinois Department of Public Health. DeKalb County is in the same region as like Sauk Valley and Winnebago County, which includes Rockford. We have had like 7 days of increases, 2 days of 8% or higher positivity rates. So beginning Saturday, restaurants and bars in DeKalb County will not be able to do indoor service. They'll have to do outdoor service, and that itself will have to close at 11 p.m. Gatherings of 25 or more will be prohibited. Gaming places or casinos or anything like that are expected to close. The mitigations do not affect schools as far as we know, and then the case count as of today in DeKalb County is 1,666 to date. Obviously, many of those people have recovered. We have had 38 deaths, so that's a lot going on, right? What, in your opinion, and we'll start. Let's start with Patrick for this one first. What, in your opinion, Patrick, or I guess, do you think that our efforts thus far within the county to stem the spread of the virus have been enough? And what are your thoughts on the mitigations that we just learned about today?
Being on the church board, as an elder, we've done all that we can there, making sure that, trying to encourage mask use. Obviously that's a key. I don't know just what type of gatherings are the people that are testing positive, where they're coming from. Possibly NIU, the college, or whether it stems from some of the hey, you need to stay there. Some of the gatherings from recent holidays. If we can, I know we have ourselves have done more of carryouts and that. What else we can do as a county? Yeah. That's about all that we can do. I apologize for my.
That's okay.
I'm a little distracted.
That's all right. That's the name of the game these days.
Where we can go, obviously we need to support our health department and the decisions that they suggest for us, and I guess follow the directives of the governor. I mean, really and truly, we need to take this seriously. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So.
All right, and we'll go ahead with Amber. Same question, Amber. Have we done enough, in your opinion, to mitigate the spread locally of the coronavirus? And what are your thoughts on what's been handed down today in terms of the mitigations, which will impact businesses beginning on Saturday?
So this one's near and dear to my heart, being in the industry that I'm in. We actually have about 12 consultants right now working on the ramping up the vaccine to scale for COVID-19 right now. I believe the county has done everything they can. The health department, they're putting out the guidance. This is going to be catastrophic to the restaurants and the bars, and again, here we are back to square one. So I think those in positions of trust right now, those in positions of leadership, really need to help shift the mindset that's going on right now, that's creating this virus to keep proliferating through. A lot of people doubt that masks do any good. They want to resist this, and whether or not you believe the masks work or not, you have to get past that and just do what the medical experts are, that's the guidance they've given. So I believe if we failed anywhere, it would just be on getting the mindsets right, so that people aren't going out without the mask. People aren't ignoring the guidelines. The longer people ignore the guidelines, the more we're going to be put back to square two and have to start over and over. And that's where the economy is getting shafted. We have to get on the same page with this and unite and realize this is a serious medical condition for too many people. So a lot of people may just get mild cold symptoms, and so they think it's okay. But that's what the medical experts have been saying from day one. That's what makes this so dangerous, because they don't know why some people that have no pre-existing health conditions are dying. And 90% recover fine, but then those 10% that have no pre-existing conditions, well, not 10%, but those that have no pre-existing conditions but yet are having to put on a ventilator to make it or don't make it. We all have to get on the same page. And even if you don't believe in the masks, just do it so that the restaurants, the bars, the economy isn't hit so hard, so we don't have to keep starting over.
All right,
and
Josh,
we're doing our part to the vaccine. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say your 2 minutes is about up. Josh, same question to you. Okay. Do you feel that we've done enough locally to mitigate the spread, and especially in light of what we've been handed down today?
So speaking specifically to what's been handed down, I haven't had a chance to see it, but based on what you were saying about bars and restaurants, indoor services ending, I think it's unfortunate, but it's probably the right call. It's kind of hard to wear a mask when you're eating or drinking. I've gone into some local places for carry out, and it's a sardine can. Everybody's packed in, no masks. It's unfortunate. I personally want to be able to eat indoors again and enjoy all the things we could pre-COVID, but until we get it under control, we got to make the hard decisions sometimes. As far as could we do more at the local level, I'm really not sure. We've done a good job following all the governor's guidelines, which are in line with the CDC. So we're doing all we can on that front. I would like to see and look for opportunities to assist the medical community, make sure, help the health department, however possible to get the PPE that these people deserve. While it's better now, serving weeks and things like that, we're seen as kind of, that would have been unheard of a year ago. So I'd look for we're mostly doing a good job. I'll echo Amber a little bit there. We just kind of need to rally around each other a little bit more. Embrace things like masks that may not help me personally, but helps, the guy who happens to be in the store next to me or whatever.
All right, and Jill, same question to you. Do you think that we've done enough locally to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus, especially in light of the mitigations that we've been handed today?
I think that the county governors, the people who are running the show here, are doing the best they can with what they with the powers they have, with what they can do. I am most concerned about individuals taking responsibility for the health and safety of themselves and other people. I work at this high school and remind students every day to make sure that their mask is on properly. And most of them are very good about it, just like when you go out in public and you see most people are wearing masks and they're wearing them properly. I'm concerned about the smaller number of people that aren't doing it. I'm concerned that there is a lack of civic duty going on that is causing people to not think that we are a community and that we need to take care of each other. And I think that better modeling good behavior of all of our leaders, every single one of them, would help a lot. I think that we need to follow the guidelines of our medical professionals, like Amber said, and I believe Josh also said that. And I would really applaud most of the efforts that are being done by our leaders here in the county. They are trying, and we have to take care of ourselves and each other right now as individuals.
All right, and Kathy, same question to you. Do you think that we've done enough locally to mitigate the coronavirus spread, especially in light of what we know about today?
Okay. I believe that the health department, under the direction of Lisa Gonzalez, has done an excellent job in response to the COVID crisis. They've definitely kept our community up to date with statistics. They've done a great job, I think, in educating us in protocols during this pandemic. I know that recently the health department had free COVID testing a couple of weeks ago. Several weeks ago, I had an opportunity to visit a family member who's a resident of the DeKalb County nursing home. And I was provided with very clear and very concise guidelines of what I had to do to have an outdoor visit. I thought the health department did a great job with those directions as to what you could do, what you couldn't do, and you had to wear a mask. But I think our health department has done a great job. I'm very sad to hear about the news that's coming again on Saturday.
All right, and we'll go with Christy next. Christy, same question to you. In your opinion, have our local efforts to regarding the coronavirus been enough, especially in light of what we know about today?
Thank you. I started back in March and April calling a lot of constituents. Since I was running for county board, I wanted to know how this was impacting everyone. And I spoke to a lot of people in my neighborhood and in the district. So I think I would always try to do that with every situation that we have where we need to get feedback and find out what's really going on. And I compared what I was hearing with what I knew the county board was doing, the county health department. And I really do think they did a good job. I remember early meetings at the county board. People were staying home, keeping distance, wearing masks, or having a lot of these Zoom meetings. And I would point out that our county nursing home is one of the few in the state. So I think I really laud our county board for maintaining that. It's very well run. I'm so proud that we have it. Just as a real quick, I don't want to get too personal here, but I have a nephew who is an anesthesiologist at Lovell Hospital in the Libertyville area. And it was scary. It was really scary when you have someone that's a frontline worker, worrying about their health. And so I do see how it's so important that the county prepare for these things, that we realize that our number one job is safety. And I remember my nephew saying, after things started to open up again, we did it because people stayed home, because people wore masks, because people did what we were asked to do. That helped us get to a point where we had some control over it. I was worried when things were lifted. Not that I want businesses to close, but I do think we need to be really strong and cohesive in all of our communities, have the same message of, how can we do this? It's really not about taking rights away from people. It's about sacrifice. We need to sacrifice to keep other people safe sometimes. And this is one of those times we just call on people to step up and make sure we communicate that information to everyone.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we got Lori. Lori, same question to you. Do you believe that our efforts locally have been enough to mitigate the spread, especially in light of what we know today?
Yeah. I think our DeKalb County Health Department has done, and you look at the website, they are great with educational links. With one of the things, wearing the mask properly. Our DeKalb County website, I looked on there today, and they have the same with proper hand washing. I think that our Zoom meetings, we're still doing county board meetings by Zoom meeting. When you go to the stores or retail, they say you must wear a mask when you enter. One of my concerns, though, is personal responsibility. I guess on a personal thing, my daughter's dating a first-line responder, and he had a disturbing story in DeKalb recently, where an apartment complex next to his, they had a large party of students. Now, this is a story we hear all across America right now, with students having these large gatherings. I think, and I hate to say it, but I think with the governor's decision today is the right one. We have to get this under control. Unfortunately, personal responsibility, when we have these large gatherings, but my concern is our local businesses. I do want to applaud last time when we were back in phase 3 with the outdoor meeting with restaurants, Sycamore, took part of the street and closed it off and allowed the restaurants to have the outdoor seating. I hope they'll do that again. That helped our local restaurants. Because, yeah, we don't want to see our business go under. I understand that, but we also have to protect. I understand that too. So this is worrisome right now with our increasing COVID cases. We can get this together, but we must wear our masks. I know, we do. We must wash our hands. We must use hand sanitizer. So but as far as county, I know we're doing everything we can. They're constantly saying that. Wear our masks, using hand sanitizer. Hopefully we'll come off these restrictions real soon if we just keep working at it and stop having these large gatherings, please. Thank you so much.
All right, so, speaking of financial burden, so I want to talk about the county budget now. Obviously we've seen, not just within the DeKalb County Board, but within many municipalities throughout this pandemic, we're in month 7. People are struggling financially. Residents might not be able to patronize businesses in the way that they normally do, which impacts, sales and restaurant and bar tax that the county collects, other situations like people not being able to pay their rent or their utilities is impactful, especially in light of people losing their jobs. With what we know about the county budget right now, and we'll start with Christy first for this question. Christy, do you believe that there's any wiggle room in the county budget? And if so, where would that be?
Well, I don't think that there is a lot of wiggle room. I mean, most of the money in the county budget goes to people. It goes to paying salaries and keeping people employed. That's very important. And we have to really be careful when we look at a budget and make sure it meets our priorities and expresses our values. So, we have to start there. And I think if there were some really easy ways to cut, I think the board that's there presently probably would have been working on that. I mean, they've been working very hard to not only have a balanced budget, but presently we have a surplus, and that's due to board decisions. And thank goodness, because it's not good to keep government on such a tight budget that you can't respond to emergencies like this. This is government's main job, is to keep us safe. So I just don't think there's an easy answer. However, I do think it's important that we learn from this and look at our budget and build it from the bottom up and ask ourselves, is this our way of keeping people safe and meeting the needs of our community? Yeah, I wish I could say there would be something easy that we could do, but I do think there are, ways that we can look at other ways to get resources and income. And I think I bring to the board a way of thinking outside the box and asking questions, and I really like to dig into things. So we'll handle it. I think we'll get there.
All right, and Lori, same question to you. Do you believe that there's any wiggle room in the DeKalb County Board budget? If so, where is that?
Not a lot of wiggle room. We really have a hiring freeze. What we do have, we have $1.5 million down reserves. But we have, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, especially with phasing back COVID. We don't know how long this COVID is going to go on. And with using the reserves, I am personally nervous about that. What are we handing the board next year with the budget? We have had a balanced budget for a long time. Right now, we're looking at a balanced budget with, I don't see a lot of wiggle room. I have been going through this budget line by line, and I just don't see it. So I'll continue looking at it. We still have a little time looking through it and talking about it. But you know, what we don't want to do is lay anybody off. And a lot of the budget goes to employees. So you know, we'll continue to look at it, but no. Thank you.
All right, and Josh, same question to you. Do you believe that there's any wiggle room in the DeKalb County Board budget? And if so, where would that be?
I think the only wiggle room that's really there right now is emergency fund. I too would be a bit nervous about drawing that down, but this is a historic crisis. That's kind of what the rainy day fund is for. But there's also a limit to how deep you can draw that down without harming ourselves in bond rates and, you know, other kind of issues. So we're going to have to find ways to squeeze more money out. You know, hiring freeze that's already in place. We're going to have to look at attrition fall off, but that really has to be balanced with not harming the services and not, you know, there are some things that are just required by statute that must be done. So there's only so far we can allow, you know, personnel to go too. So it's going to require some creative answers, some creative thinking. Yeah, I look forward to taking that challenge on.
All right, and Kathy, same question to you. Do you believe that there's any wiggle room in the budget? And if so, where would you find that?
I, like the others, don't believe there is much wiggle room in the budget. I believe that our county department heads have done a great job submitting their budgets, and I think they all have a good understanding of the financial situation facing our county right now. I have high praise for the current county board, the department heads, the finance department, the county administrator, for submitting a balanced budget now and in the years past. I'm not a huge fan of dipping too far into the reserves. Thank you.
All right, and we'll do Jill next. Jill, same question. Do you believe that there's any wiggle room in the county board budget? And if so, where is that?
I think we're singing the same song, all of us. No, there is not much wiggle room. Kathy, you're right about that. I also agree that we need to make sure that we keep the employees of our county working. If we don't hire people to replace the ones that leave, maybe we can figure out how to redistribute the work for that sort of thing. But we have been saving for these rainy days, and this is a rainy day. It's a hard time. Sometimes you've got to dip into savings when you're running a household budget, and sometimes you have to dip into savings a little bit when you're running a government budget. Obviously, you don't want to run it dry, but no, there's hardly any wiggle room at all. And at the same time, we have to make sure that the board reflects the values of our community and we're taking care of each other. I think we're in for a tough time, and I think that very careful thought is going to be needed, and I hope to be the person that gets to help with that.
All right, and we'll go ahead and do Patrick next. Patrick, same question to you. Do you believe that there's any wiggle room in the county board budget? And if so, where would that be? Oh, let's make sure you're unmuted.
There we go.
Patrick, you're muted.
There we go.
There you go.
I don't see a whole lot of wiggle room whatsoever. As a mechanic, I mean, we work on all of our equipment. We don't have a whole lot of new stuff on our farm. You know, equipment, you know, of course you can't run things into the ground totally neither. But I agree with everyone else, you know, you can't turn people out. You can't cut them off. We've got to keep our employees that we have, because we do have quality employees in all departments. So it's gonna be a challenge. It will definitely be a challenge.
All right, and Amber, same question to you. Do you believe that there's any wiggle room in the county board budget? And if so, where is that?
I'm going to have to echo much of what has been said already. I think the current county board has done a great job. And if there was, you know, obvious wiggle room, they would have already identified that. So, you know, we do have reserves, and that's a very good thing going into more shutdowns. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with COVID, but like I mentioned, you know, the vaccine is moving forward with warp speed, and it really depends on if we get a vaccine out relatively soon, and then how many people will be willing to get the vaccine. And you know, if we cannot identify a safe and effective vaccine relatively soon, we're going to have to be very creative and look at the budget line by line and trim any and all areas that are not absolutely necessary, depending on how bad it were to get. You know, I mean, in the worst case scenario. But I wouldn't want to cut any of the employees. So we would have to look at non-essential programs and look to trim there. And not that we would want to do that, but, and I've looked over the budget and I see a couple areas that we could trim if absolutely necessary, but definitely glad that we have the reserves, and there's not a lot of wiggle room. They've done a good job of keeping it balanced and not having a lot of waste.
All right, so going off of the budget situation, you know, I think most of you guys, like you were saying, have pretty much the same idea. It's interesting that you did, because, you know, this is my last round of county board interviews, and that sentiment is echoed in many races too. So, you know, part of the budgetary process for the DeKalb County Board, as you guys know, has the ability to reallocate or to designate funding to the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, and then the Sheriff's Office sort of gets to do what they do with their budget. So over the past couple months, obviously starting over the summer, we've seen protests, marches, demonstrations, and many places across the county, not just within the city of DeKalb, but we've seen them in Sycamore, in other areas within the county. Part of the marches and the calls for change have to do with policing, and then part of that, when you get into the policing, has to do with budgets, right? We've seen a couple calls for reallocating funding from law enforcement agencies, such as the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, and putting that money elsewhere, whether it be in social services, whether it be in training, whatever that looks like. We'll start with, let's go ahead and start with Josh for this question. Josh, do you support those calls for reallocating funds from the sheriff's office? Why or why not? And let's make sure that you're unmuted.
So it's a complicated question. First off, like once the money is allocated to the sheriff, that's their responsibility what they do with it. So the board can't dictate, hey, do this or that or the other thing. Thankfully, the board has had a very good relationship, or the current board leadership rather. Particularly, I'm thinking of the instances of, getting body cams into the sheriff's office. That was something that the board was able to negotiate with the sheriff because they've had a good relationship and they could achieve that. In principle, I'd like to see more medical providers and mental health providers responding to calls that have to do with those type of issues. The least amount of, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it, but the least amount of intervention with, street police and, people who are having a mental health problem, that would be a good thing. I don't think it's really fair to put that on the police officers. And I think in other areas it's caused some not so great outcomes. DeKalb's been fortunate. Our sheriff's department is good. So I would actually look to collaborate with the sheriff to find ways to incorporate some of the ideas and some of the requests and demands for different type of policing. But I would approach that as a collaborative effort rather than just dictating. I couldn't do anyway.
All right, and we'll go with Christy. Same question, Christy. Do you support local calls that we've heard for reallocating funding from the sheriff's office to other services? Why or why not?
I think it's such an important conversation, and so much of what we work on and decide and have dialogue about is framing an issue. And I know a lot of people who have gone into policing, and if you ask them why, it's because they want to help people. So we know that there are people very dedicated to helping. I think we are asking too much of our police to get into situations where other skills are needed. They can't be everything to everybody. They can't come out for every call and have the training to deal with, for instance, mental health issues and even domestic violence. Many years ago, I was a victim of domestic violence, and sometimes sometimes it's a good thing to see a policeman, but sometimes it's something else, that can de-escalate a problem. And so I like Josh said, I do understand that the sheriff has that, the leeway to use the budget money. But I think having a good relationship between the county board and the sheriff's office has helped us achieve having body cams. And so if we can have these conversations, framing the issues as this is a safety issue for all of our citizens, how can we tackle this? And perhaps using more help at the dispatch phase, more social, really well-trained people in social work to deal with some problems. I think it's reframing how we're going to spend money and what we're going to do with our resources. So thank you for the question.
You bet. And we'll do Jill next. Jill, same question to you. Do you support local calls for reallocating funding from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office to other services such as social services? Why or why not?
Actually, I was just talking to one of the teachers at the school about this a few days ago. And she and I were discussing it in a very, bird high, distant view, but it's such a concerning issue. I mean, we all have young people in our lives that we worry about getting into mischief or just, living their lives and sometimes, falling into mischief with that by accident. And I know that the board doesn't tell the sheriff how to allocate funds, but I do think, as Josh mentioned, collaborating with the sheriff on how their department might be best supported in their decisions to maybe not send police to every little call. I mean, if it's non-criminal activity, or if it's just, a situation that is awkward but not dangerous or criminal, we shouldn't be sending the police to that. They have much more important things to do, and it seems like a real waste of their time and effort and their valuable skills to spend that on, say, someone who's just troubled, or a kid that's, maybe just not doing things that they should be doing. So I think that it's important that the police reflect our community and its values as much as possible. And I know plenty of policemen, and they care about the people that live here and the people they serve, and they want to make sure everyone is safe, but we all need to make sure everyone is safe. And that's why I think that we can collaborate with the sheriff's office, and we do have a great sheriff's department, I think. I've heard a lot of good things about them, and I don't know how to elaborate more at this.
All right, and we'll go with Lori next. Lori, same question to you. Do you support calls for reallocating funding from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office to social services? Why or why not?
To the sheriff, he spends it, but I have some thoughts. I'm on the county board liaison to the mental board. And one of the things the mental health board does is work with Sycamore. You have a social worker. So if they need a social worker on calls for safe and misconduct, so why couldn't this be done on the sheriff's department? Now, understanding now what the county covers is pretty wide, but I don't see why it couldn't be done. I think it's something worth looking at, seeing how much would this cost. I'm also very much in favor of more training. I can't remember when it is, but I know that there is some training coming up in the near future that's being funded by the Mental Health Board. I left my notes downstairs. Sorry, otherwise I talk more about it. But the more training that they can get, I think the better it is for citizens of our county. But about reallocating funds, I think it's just something we have to look at carefully. Reallocating funds for what? Definitely not less officers, because if we look at the how much ground we cover in the county, plus the forest preserve, that's a lot of area. But it's certainly for a social worker, or probably more, because it's a lot of area they have to cover. So we have to look at the funding, and where we're going to get the funding from. But I'm definitely in favor of it. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, and we'll do Amber next. Amber, same question to you. Do you support reallocating any funding from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office to social services? Why or why not?
So that's definitely a loaded question right now at this time. But so I support refocusing and looking. So I would want to work very closely with the Sheriff's Department to try to refocus what we're going out on calls for with police officers. So I would like to refocus that to violent crimes, violent criminals, child predators, and domestic violence. So I'd like to, build that relationship with the Sheriff's Department, and reallocating funds would be tricky because we don't want to pay them less. I would actually be in favor of paying them a little bit more, probably to have, because our officers are, they're expected to do so much. They go out on every different kind of call, and it's just, we need to prioritize differently, categorize differently, and really route the calls differently when they come in. And that's where I say refocus. So we really don't have, the board doesn't have the authority to make them refocus, but that would be on building the relationship and showing the data that supports that. Unfortunately, the data doesn't really support more training. I've studied this and researched this in depth, and adding training to existing officers has not contributed greatly to helping the relationship between the us versus them mentality that seems to be going on right now. So I would definitely be very open to adding services for mental health and having those that are trained for mental health. And so I would be very interested in hiring officers that have degrees in both, really. But keeping the officers we have as well, and really incorporating, if we're going to train on anything, mental health, adding that component so that when calls come in, they can be routed properly for children that they're having problems listening to their parents or whatever, so it doesn't escalate, or anybody that has mental health issues, really prioritize de-escalation. And as far as reallocating funds, that is something that would have to be, considered. Have to really go in and look at the budget and see if there was any room to reallocate so that we could add some social workers.
All right, and Patrick, same question to you. Do you support reallocating any funding from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office to social services in light of what we've heard locally? Why or why not?
Personally, I feel our sheriff's department is it's being run in a professional manner. We have a quality sheriff and deputy that take their jobs seriously. They interact with the public in a respectful manner. They have a tough job. Could we find some more funding for for mental health, professionals to help with that. That would be the one thing that I could see, you know, trying to find some funding, but otherwise, I'm really not a proponent of dictating to the county sheriff what, you know, where his funding is going to go. I would hate to cut back if there's any, you know, with everything that is going on nationally, it would not surprise me if something comes down from, you know, some type of mandate comes down from Congress for, you know, regulating our sheriff and our policing entities. And I would hate for them to have an unfunded mandate that they have to deal with. I mean, we have to have their back and keep them funded to our fullest extent.
All right, you guys. So we're gonna go into our closing statements, and we're gonna invite you all to have 2 minutes, and sort of like the opening ones, but if you want to focus the closing ones on why you think that you're the best person to serve in this role. So 2 minutes to remind us why we should vote for you. And why don't we go ahead and we'll start with Amber.
So again, I'm Amber Quitnell, running for District 4 in Sycamore. And I'm asking for your vote because I'm qualified. I'm deeply invested in the community. And I promise that I will keep myself available online. I'll have my website available at all times, keep it up. My Facebook, I will respond to constituents as soon as possible. And I will not only just be open to you, but I will actively seek your opinion. I promise that I will do my research and present that information to you and actively seek out your opinion. And then represent you. I want to be your voice. And I want to contribute to the community that helped to shape who I am, helped to build my character. And I think that I have a lot of skills and experience that could be really strong assets to the board. So I'm asking for your vote and your confidence in me. And I'm humbled to be on the ballot and vote for Amber Quitnell. Thank you.
All right, and go ahead, Josh, you can go next.
Two mute buttons. First off, I'd like to thank the Daily Chronicle for holding this forum. Much appreciate the opportunity to speak directly to voters. But again, I'm Josh Orr, running for DeKalb County Board, District 3, Democratic candidate. And I think I would be the best for the job because I am intelligent, reasonable. I have experience in government. I have experience solving real problems in the domestic violence arena with software. I have, and I'm also a man of integrity. I do what I say what I mean, and I'm an open book in that regards. So I would like to ask for your vote this November. Josh Orr, DeKalb County Board 3. Thank you.
All right, and Christy, you can go ahead.
Okay, again, I'm Christy Slavinas, running for County Board for Genoa and Kingston. And thank you, Kelsey, and thank you, fellow candidates and board members. Again, I think this is so important. With DeKalb being 88–90% agriculture, I do have to mention that would be on my mind as well as a board member. farming is in my family background. I still have a great uncle who's on a farm. He's 90. He still has cattle, and I used to spend summers on that farm. So, but I have a breadth of that really reflects the county. I have military service with loved ones very close to me. There's social services in my family, and then my own 36 years of teaching. And as I stressed earlier, I listen, and I will go out and learn and study the issues and think and consider all sides. But beyond that, I'll also take action. I think we need to do things that make the county stronger. And that all begins with safety. I will keep myself focused on everything from preschoolers to protesters to police officers, our seniors, our veterans. We have to keep everybody in mind. And our budget should be a reflection of all those values that we keep with citizens, and our determination to keep them safe. And last of all, I've always said that it really doesn't matter what we do now unless we're being sustainable. And racism is not sustainable. That's not who we are. That's not going to move us forward. We need to take care of all of our residents and work together to solve problems. If you live in Genoa or Kingston, I'm asking for your vote. I've been reaching out to a lot of people. If somehow I've missed you or I don't get to you in the next couple of weeks, I do have a website, FlavinusForCountyBoard.org. I will keep that website if I'm so honored to be elected, because you can email me. My phone number is on there. I want to be available and work together to solve our problems. And thank you again.
All right, and Kathy, why don't you go next?
Kelsey, could I have an opportunity to respond to the sheriff's reallocation
Oh my
of
gosh,
funds
did I not get you in that question? I'm so sorry, Kathy. Of course, you do that first. I'm so sorry.
No problem, no problem. I know that DeKalb County has levied $2.7 million for mental health issues this year. But on to the Sheriff's Department. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Department is here to protect and serve the citizens of DeKalb County. There's always 3 to 4 officers on duty at any one time. I know the sheriff has 28 patrol officers, and they cover 630 square miles in our county. Sheriff Scott is responsible for staffing the jail with 34 correction officers and supervisors, and they have to staff both the expansion of the jail and, if you will, the old jail, because they have males in the expansion and the females are housed in the what we would refer to as the old jail. Sheriff Scott also has an office staff. He's got 34 deputies and supervisors that man the 911 call center and dispatch. He has 7 detectives in the investigation area. Plus they do the security at the courthouse. They do all the dispatch for the county with the exception of the city of DeKalb, and they dispatch for both the for police and fire. As a representative of the citizens of my district, I do not want to sacrifice public safety for our property, especially for our children and our families. I'm very interested in the safety of our children. I feel we need to adequately staff and fund the Sheriff's Department. Now, do you want me to do my closing?
Yeah, and I just want to apologize again. I'm so sorry I missed you in that last round.
Oh, no.
You can go
No
ahead and do your
problem,
closing,
no
Kathy.
problem at all. Okay, thank you. Once again, Kelsey, I'd like to thank you and the Daily Chronicle for hosting this forum. DeKalb County has been a great place to live and raise a family. We have an excellent agricultural base in our county. I also feel that working for the county for 22 years makes me a strong candidate with everything that I have learned during those 22 years. I have been attending all county board meetings and individual committee meetings since February, so I feel I have a good understanding of what issues our county board has been working with. I am not afraid to ask question after question until I have a good understanding of the issues facing the county board. I have a sincere desire to represent my constituents in District 1. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. And we'll go ahead and go with Lori with your closing statements.
Thank you. Thank you to the Daily Chronicle. Again, I'm Lori Emmer. I'm a current county board member for District 4 in Sycamore. It's an honor to serve. I've always valued everything constituents that come to me for. I've always listened to all sides and taken everything into consideration. It's always very important to me. Sometimes I have changed my mind based on something someone has come to me about. I have researched everything. It's very important. Read everything thoroughly, line by line on every budget. My father-in-law worked for FS for years, so there is agriculture background. My husband used to work for the DeKalb County Sheriff's Department, so I have an understanding on the Sheriff's Department. He was a police officer in Hinckley. He currently works in agriculture here in DeKalb County. So I have an understanding of what's going on in DeKalb County. I have an understanding with the Veterans Committee. If there's something I don't understand, I will ask about it. Mental health is near and dear to my heart. So many of my friends who have taken their own life, that's why I volunteered to be on the mental health board. I ask for your vote. I would like to serve at least another term because, again, serving the community that I live in is very important. I'm here for the constituents, not for me, but for the constituents. Thank you so much.
All right, and we'll go with Patrick next. Patrick, why don't you go ahead and make your closing statements?
Yes, again, I'm Patrick Deutsch, lifelong resident of Sycamore. I'm a dairy and grain farmer, so agriculture is I'm third generation dairy and grain farmer. Ag is in my blood, in my background. I'm hoping to make it so that the next generation is taken care of, that they have what they need to succeed in their aspirations, and that they can do that safely. Whether that be driving down a road, or riding a bicycle, or going for a jog, they need to be safe. I'd like to ask for your vote, and keep DeKalb County respectable and a place where people want to live. I thank you very much.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we'll go with Jill. Jill, why don't you go ahead and make your closing statement?
Well, as a lifelong member
Daddy
of
have
our
his-
community and the daughter of a long life farmer is also, I know that our area and the county, our area of the county, District 1 has a lot of unique opportunities and a lot of challenges. I know that our agribusiness-based economy, our public schools, our infrastructure, they're all the foundations of making our district as successful and prosperous as possible. I also know that the people here deserve the focus and dedicated representation that comes with a lifetime of choosing, you know, to live here in the villages, in the amongst the farmers, amongst the people that live in the community. And I've chosen that my entire life, whenever possible, to live amongst the farmers and in the villages. And I've raised my family here because this is where I want to be. And these are the people that I want to help take care of. And that's why I'm asking for people for me, because I know a great representative of the people in District 1.
All right. I just want to thank all of our candidates for joining us this evening. I know it's not ideal. Technology doesn't ever work when you want it to, so I appreciate everyone's patience tonight. Just a reminder to all of our viewers who will see this video when we post it, the election is November 3rd. Early voting actually began already in DeKalb County, and that includes mail-in ballots. That began last Thursday. So if you requested a mail-in ballot, the first mailers would have been sent last Thursday. In-person early voting is at Sycamore in the Legislative Center right now. Additional locations will open on October 19th, including in DeKalb Township, in Kirkland, on NIU campus, and in Sandwich. For more information on all of our candidates, not just the ones that we see here, you're welcome to go to our website, www.daily-chronicle.com. We do have an election central. If you click on the yellow bar right on the top of the website, that will take you to the election central, and you'll be able to read all of the candidates. So thank you so much for everyone to join us tonight, and we appreciate it. Have a good one.